the bring it on Zoom and not bring it to not to be able to do it Chabad due to the weather. It's going to rain, so they say. But learning never ends. So I want to start off with a Rambam. We started the Rambam last week. We started the Rambam, Maimonides of the three chapters, the one chapter of Maimonides, and I want to share with you. Starting off, I'll share with you the page of Tanya. I'll share with you the Rambam. I'll share with you. Oops, oh wait a second. I'm gonna stop doing that a second. Let's do it right. I want to share with you, starting with the Rambam, Maimonides. With Maimonides starts off with the following statement of his Rambam, where he starts off his book, the Yad HaChazaka, which is the book of which he wrote, which halachas, generally halachas, Jewish law. But he starts off the book in a very extremely spiritual manner. He starts off, which really, if you comprehend over here the Rambam, Maimonides himself, in understanding what he wanted to bring out and the concept of what the Torah wants to really bring out, we'll understand the same thing what the Alter Rebbe wants to in a way bring out. And he says as follows: the foundation of all foundation and the pillar of wisdom. And those who say that Rambam starts off with these 4 words, because if you take the first letters of each word, first letters of each one of these words, you have God's name, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. The foundation of all foundations and the pillar of wisdom is the name of God, Yud Kei Vav Kei, because God is the essence of everything. And then the Rambam continues, and he says, Leda, to know. Very important word in Chabad, because Leda, to know, is part of the concept of Chachma Bina Das, to know that the Rambam writes off that this is the foundation of all foundations, but even though I'm going to tell you something that's extremely deep and extremely profound, it's important that you have a knowledge in it. And what is that knowledge? That there is a primary being. There's a primary being. And what does the meaning that there's a primary being? The primary being means and everything, and the heavens and the earth and everything in between them came into existence. They came into existence only because of his existence. Only in the truth of his being. That the whole existence came into existence only because of God's existence. Now the Rambam is going to say this is how he finishes the first halacha in his book. And then he's going to say an interesting expression in the next halacha. Because he understands that human beings have a limited mind. And just like I just said A, I can say B. That is human minds, and that's the way the Abishah created us. That the second we can say A, we can say B. So this he says, if you would imagine, means I don't know if the translation exactly. In Yala Adas, it will come to your mind, it will come to your knowledge. Through any matzi. If you can imagine that God does not exist, then nothing else can exist. So it's an interesting expression over here in the Rambam. It says, I came to that Yala Das. I came to that realization that God doesn't exist. Chas v'shalom. So how can what's the meaning? If I come to the realization that God doesn't exist, then I don't exist. Because if God doesn't exist, there's no existence. So it's an interesting expression in a positive and a negative. Rambam goes in the positive, starts in the positive, ends off in a negative, and he continues, but I don't, there's not a Rambam class over here. So the Rambam goes into a very deep concept, into understanding what is true existence. Sidis explains this concept in an aspect of Oid and Kli, that everything in the world has a concept of a Oid and energy, and an existence, and a vessel that it exists, that gives it existence. For example, in ourselves, we have a neshama and we have a guf. We have a guf, and we all know what a guf is, a body, but the body needs to have life. Without the neshama, the body doesn't have any life. So therefore, the body needs to have life. And the life is the soul of the body. The truth is, the Kli has also an existence on its own, because we see, Chas v'shalom, we might go to a funeral, and we will see the body. But the body's there without a neshama. So the body is there, it didn't just disappear. When the neshama left the body, the body existed. It's still in existence. And you can find the body in existence thousands of years later. That there's a body. The body is there. The body exists. And the body continues to exist because the body itself also has an existence. So therefore the body is called a Kli, because the Kli, the vessel, and the Oir are two different entities. And the body the Kli, the vessel, is there for a purpose. And the oil is there for a purpose. The oil, the energy, the neshama is there for a purpose. And that's the way the Eibishter, in essence, created the world, oilically, aspect of where there's an energy in the world and there's a vessel in the world, and how these two things ultimately come together. Even though they will separate, or they might separate sometimes, they might go in a different ways in certain times, and they might have their own agenda, but ultimately the Eibishter wanted that to be nishmasi, that my neshama should come down into this vessel of a guf, and my neshama and my guf should work together, to come together in some aspects in life. Hopefully they'll be able to a unity, the unity between Oid and Kli. That will be the ultimate purpose, the ultimate journey is the unity of Oid and Kli, the unity of God in the world, the unity of spirituality and physicality. And that's really the journey of humanity. And therefore, the Rambam says that is Leda. We have to come to that realization that we are the vessel and the Eibishter is the Oid. So the Eibishter is the Nimtza, the real Nimtza, and we are there, the vessel for that oil. The earlier, the better. The faster we come to that realization, the more of a happier existence we'll have. The more of an existence, of a unity existence, a shalom, a peaceful existence we'll have in the world. Not only in the world at large, but in ourselves, in our small world, we'll have this peace. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe, we're holding in the middle of chapter 12. The Alter Rebbe said, we really come to that realization. When does a Jew come to that realization? You should come to that realization when he davens, when he prays. When he prays, that's why tefillah, Torah, avodah, ugmilas chasadim. Torah brings you to avodah. Torah, the learning of Torah, hopefully brings you to the concept of the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is the service of God? Simple meaning is prayer. When I pray to God, tefillah. Tefillah means, in Hebrew, tafel, means to be secondary. I'm not praying to God only because I need him. I'm praying to God because I realize that my existence is him. So forget that I need him. I have no existence without him. So I'm tafel, I'm secondary. In comparison to the oil, in comparison to my soul, and to the earth, the energy that God gives me, I'm bottle because I need Him. Without his I have no nothing. I have no vessel. I surely don't have a purpose in this vessel. So therefore, I realized that ultimately in the davening, and the most importantly, I realized that in the Shema. When I say the Shema, when I say those words, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one," and I realized the unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And once I realized the unity of God, it automatically demands, I love God. With all my heart, with all my soul, with all my being, and everything that I have. Might be the hardest one of all the three. As Rashi himself says, why does the Torah need to say with all your soul and then say with all your money? If you're ready to give away your soul, why wouldn't you be ready to give away your money? So Rashi in Chumash says the reason is because there are people who care about their money more than their soul. So there are some people who care about their soul more than their money, and there are some people who care about their money more than their soul. By them, it's more important. The concept of the physical money than the neshama. So therefore, we need to say because some of us might, our physicality, our physical side, the vessel might be important than the earth. And it might be a bigger priority. Even Shlomo Melech said, Adam doeg al mamonai, ve'eino doeg al zmanai. A person worries about his money, but he doesn't worry about his time. Really, in those two aspects of life, time, and money, life should be more than money, because life doesn't come back. Can't stop life. Can't stop the time running. But money could. Money could have some days good days and some days bad days. And when you have a bad day, ultimately, Mitchum, you have a good day, etc. So that's the struggle that we do. And hopefully in davening, in prayer, we can come to the concept, to realize this concept of our connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The problem is not in davening. The problem is when we leave davening. That's what we're holding. When we leave davening, we only daven every day, maybe 45 minutes a day. There's 24 hours in a day. And we're davening 45 minutes to an hour a day. So we have another 23 hours that we're not davening. And even if we're sleeping 8 hours of that day, we have a lot of part of the day that we need to be able to have some kind of a in all your ways you shall see God. And everything that you do should be for the sake of heaven. How does one do that? So that's why the Alter Rebbe tries to explain, that we have to be able to draw out the davening throughout the day. Really depends on the way we had a davening and our way we prayed, to be able to draw it out throughout the entire day. So let's learn inside where we're holding. If you have any questions, you want to say something, don't be shy, even though you're on Zoom. And say something and unmute yourself and participate. After prayer, the burning love of God is no longer in a revealed state in his right part of his heart. So he's now left it. He left davening. Now, as the Alter Rebbe says, it's almost like
couldn't hear. Can you hear?
You can't hear?
All right.
I'm not here. You can't hear me?
No, I can hear.
I can hear.
Me too.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. So,
Where are we on page? We're on page 52?
I'm not sure, darling.
Okay.
We're in the middle of chapter 12, I can tell you.
All right.
I gotta tell you if you want. No. So it's not revealed because he's left prayer. He's on a course, a different avenue. He's on a different road. Rather, the love after prayer only is inside his heart. It's inlaid in a hidden love. It's not revealed love. So it's a concept of hiddenness. It's in the vessel, and the vessel might be extremely thick vessel. Which is the natural ava that every Jew has. Alter Rebbe is interesting. You'll always see this in Tanya. Alter Rebbe says this: ava hativis shebenefesh elikis. Every person has a godly soul. Every person has a godly soul. Then every person has a natural love of God, whether you feel it or you don't. Just like every creation in the world has its nature, the cow and the horse and the sheep and the human being has also its nature. And what's its nature? Not what it does, not what it thinks, but what is its nature? Every aspect of the world has a nature. So to a human being has also a nature. And its nature is, as a human being, is ava to the Eibush. Why? Because your essence knows its creator. Maybe the body doesn't know its creator, but the instinct of the body, its instinct, its basic instinct is to do good, is to love God. Every one of us is good. It's a very important thing because a lot of people think negative of themselves. And that's what the Alter Rebbe says as many times. You'll see this throughout Tanya. He says that. There's this concept that every person has every person has a natural instinct of good. Because every person has an Eireliki in him. Every person has a godly energy. And if he has a godly energy, that is good. So every person wants to do good in his essence. Every person wants to be loving in his essence. Every person wants to be giving in his essence. And even if he has Gevura, he has certain tendencies of severity, it's all connected ultimately to Chesed. He still has Chesed. He still has the concept of Ava. And ultimately, that's why everybody is Tiferes. Everybody has beauty. There's not a person in the world that doesn't have something beautiful within him. Even though he might look like something that's totally the opposite. Doesn't take away from his essence. Maybe his body, his cover, his clipper. That's why your body is a clipper. That's why it says in Kabbalah, you can be dressed in Mishcha de Chavida, you can be dressed in a serpent's body. But it's a body, it's a dressing, it's a cover. And therefore, everybody has the capability to open up his neshama, to reveal his goodness, to reveal his godliness. There's no person in the world that can't do that. Just like everything in the world reveals its nature, and that's where he is. That's where an animal is not afraid to reveal its nature. He doesn't have any he doesn't have any tears. He doesn't have any political problems. He doesn't have those issues. Human beings create this whole facade. We create this whole blubbermeister around us. It's like we're like some people say, like we're in a show. Life is like you're an actor. The ganze Meister is a whole act. And the Eibishter wants You have to be honest, be truthful. Why does life have to be an act? Why can life be true? And the truth is, everybody's good. Everybody has good. And everybody can show they're good. I know sometimes it's hard. We should at least try it. Try to, that's what they said one time to a person came to the Alter Rebbe and told him that your Chassidim are fakers. The Simcha, they're walking around, Chassidim walk around happy, it's all an act. It's all fake, not real. And the Alter Rebbe said, you know what? Even if they're faking it, one day they'll reveal their emes. One day that will become their emes. Because the Gemara says that even if you fake something, you'll ultimately come to that kind of a situation. So we all have a true emes of goodness and happiness. So even if you meet a person that is showing an unhappy life, it's not true. Not true. He has the capability to be happy. The Eibishter gives us all the capability to be happy. Gives us all the possibilities to be satisfied and to be joyful and to be good. But what happens is we give ourselves over to the Yetzer Hara. We give ourselves over to the evil inclination. And that's called what we call the fool. We give ourselves over to the fool. As the Alter Rebbe says over here, and after prayer, when the love of God is no longer revealed in his heart, of obeying me, it's possible for the folly of the wicked fool, the animal soul, to reveal itself in the left part of his heart. Then the animal soul, which is more gevura, which is more severity, fools us. It turns into a show. We went from the davening where we were truthful, we were tafel, we were open, we were honest, we had a relationship with God, we had a feeling to him, and now we're back to the show. We're back to the animalistic show. This whole show, this ganze Meise, this whole theater, that everything is rolling around us, and we're in the middle of this fake reality. The Savis, Taivas, the Chalani, Gashim, that automatically creates this fantasy of what life is. We think life is about. Yes.
Yes, I have a question about the davening.
Yes.
So where does talking to Hashem in your own words fall into this? Like, I know that even though I say the daven in Hebrew from the Siddur, and I try to, understand it, where I feel more connected to Hashem is when I am, throughout the day, and also maybe in the davening, talking to Hashem in my own words. So how does that play in what you're telling us?
Okay, very good question. Oh wow, it's marbling out there. So very good question. So the answer I would give you is that davening is only there to awaken up your own emotions. The Chachamim put a system of davening that they would awaken up your heart. So they put certain concepts, as the Alter Rebbe said, to be birchas, the brachas of the Shema, or the Pesukei de Zimra, praises of God, Kadosh Baruch Hu. We praise God. Is there talking to waken up our own davening? Davening needs to be, you're right, it needs to be your speech. But the Chachamim put together a package so that it would awaken. If you would understand the davening and you would pray and you would say those words, it would awaken up a certain concept within your heart to create a true aspect of your own speech, of your own davening. Therefore, you can add in davening, not in the praise of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but in the concept, with that you have to be careful. The Gemara says to how you praise God, but in the aspect of what I want to ask, or what I might need, or the way I want to express myself to God, 100%. I don't think the Chachamim, you'll see the Gemara and Shulchan Aruch tells you you're allowed to add your own words, and you can add your own feelings and express yourself with any way you want to express yourself. Not only in davening, but even in Shemona Esrei, you can add, and in different places, you can add to your prayers. And if you want to add, you should add.
But I'm actually speaking really, the truth is more, like they say, if you daven in Hebrew, even if you don't understand that, it's better than davening in English. So I daven in Hebrew, but I really mean mostly after davening is over. Like during the day, I really do try to speak to Hashem in my own words throughout the day. But it sounds like you're saying that once you finish davening, then there's not a connection. And I'm wondering just where this talking to Hashem in your own words throughout the day, after you finish formal davening, what is that? How does that play in this?
So again, the Alter Rebbe is talking about that the Eibishter gave every person a certain time, especially a person that's involved in the world more, the capability of separating from the world. Because that's really the concept of davening. Davening is not when you're working and when you're playing. Davening is a time where a person separates himself from the worldly matters, and he concentrates in one aspect, in the aspect of davening. And therefore, a person shouldn't make it tefillah akva, a certain set situation, because it should come from the heart. But there needs to be a set time for. There is a set time for davening. So there's the morning davening, there's the afternoon davening, there's the evening davening. So there's a set time for it. Why? Because you should separate yourself. If you can do that during the day, separate you from your worldly matters, and pray, whether it's a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. That's what you should do. But it should be an established situation where you can separate from the world. So here the Chachamim gave you a time to separate yourself from the world. To do it 3 times a day. The Gemara says really a person should daven a whole day. Therefore, the Chassidim is daven a whole day. Should daven a whole day, because a person should connect to God in the aspect of prayer a whole day. If you can do that, not only during the davening, but during the day also, where you can separate yourself and have a meditative moment or a davening moment, prayer moment, a connected moment, which that's davening. Davening is a connected moment. You should do that. I don't think that would be wrong. That would be beautiful. So if you have that capability, that your job gives you that capability from time to time to pray to God, the more the better. The more you can pray to God, the better it is. But
So does davening include in your own words?
Yeah, I can. Davening can be your own words. I don't know where davening. The beauty of davening that Chacham did, it's self-understood that these words that let's say most of the davening is Tillim. So what David HaMelech had in mind when he made the Tillim, it's self-understood that the prayer itself is a powerful thing. The word itself is a powerful thing. So my words is not as powerful as David HaMelech's words, or as the Torah's words itself, as Yashir, for example, which is the Torah's words, or the Shema Yisrael, which is the Torah's words. So that's why you should say the words. That's why it's better to say these words in the concept of the way they're written, because self-understood, the words themselves have an unbelievable power in itself, because they're the words of David HaMelech, they're the words of Tanakh, the part of Tanakh, they're the words of the Torah itself. The Shemona Esrei are the words that the Anshe Knesset Gdela, the rabbis of the Great Assembly, put together. These words have in themselves a power within themselves. But it doesn't take away from your own words. I'm not here diminishing your own words. But I think a person needs to realize that these words have a power in itself, that that's not words that were just, made up by anybody. Majority of davening is words of David HaMelech wrote in Tillim, part of Tanakh. Chumash, the part of the Chumash, part of the Torah itself, the part of what the Anshe Knesset Gdela put together, word for word. Every word is there for a reason. Every word has deeper meanings. Every word is powerful within itself. And therefore, That's what it says. If you cannot daven in Hebrew, daven in English. But trust me, the English in many ways kills the Hebrew in a way. It just doesn't reflect the true word in Hebrew. It's so hard sometimes to explain a Hebrew word. They do their best, but it's not really the explanation of the Hebrew word. So therefore, the best way is to do both. To read the Hebrew, understand the English on the left side of your siddur, and daven in Hebrew because that's the word of the Torah. And why not connect to something powerful when you can have both worlds? You can have the word, and you can have the machshava. You can have the thought to it. That's why it says that ultimately, if you didn't have kavanah and davening, you still had the word. So that's powerful in itself. Saying the words of davening has a power within itself that is unbelievable. If you say the words of davening, it says that if you would realize that Tzemach Tzedek writes in the Tillim, in the back of the Tillim, he writes, it says, if you would realize the power of saying Tillim, you would say Tillim a whole day. That the gates of heaven are open, are not closed. It says the gates of heaven are not closed to the words of Tehillim. They will always be open to the words of Tehillim. So therefore, we should say Tehillim a whole day. We should say Tehillim whenever we can. That's why the Frierdiker Rebbe instituted saying Tehillim every day. And the Rebbe writes that you don't realize that we should say Tehillim with a minyan. He says, say Tehillim after davening with a minyan, because you don't realize the power of saying Tehillim with a minyan, especially for you and for your children and for your grandchildren, the Rebbe writes, and the previous Rebbe writes. So the words of Tehillim itself is powerful itself, and that's why I always tell you that if you look at the end of Tehillim, we say Yehi Ratzon. And the Yehi Ratzon says that may be the will that when I say Tehillim, is as if David HaMelech said the Tehillim, who wrote the Tehillim with all the spiritual and godly intentions in every word that he wrote. I don't know the godly intentions of David HaMelech, and I don't even feel the godly intentions of David HaMelech. I don't know them, so therefore I should say Yehi Ratzon. Maybe the will that I say these words, but I don't understand the essence of these words. Like maybe understand a little bit of a simple interpretation, but I don't understand the meanings of why he said dafka this word and not another word. But when I say these words, as if David HaMelech says it. And the Gemara says something very interesting. The Talmud says that every person, that every when you say Tehillim, David HaMelech is saying Tehillim. Your mother says anything that you say in this world, in the name of like Abaya Amar, Abaya said, like we say in Pirkei Avos, what this sage said, so the expression the Gemara says, Davis Bekeva, his lips are moving in his grave, so to say. And then when you learn Torah, Lamer, the Gemara says, when you learn Torah, God is saying the Torah with you. Lamer, Lamer. Say these words to say. God says, I'm saying it with you. So that's the power of the word. And I don't take away from the power of the word. But ultimately, we wanted that you should daven with kavanah, and there should be an intent in prayer, but not only just say the word, but you should understand that you're praying to God. And the true aspect of prayer is that I believe that everything that I have is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not only health and wealth and happiness, but my existence. Everything that I have, my every fiber of my body, every breath I take is from God. And my total existence is from God. So therefore, I'm secondary in that aspect. And therefore, I love source of my existence, life. Just like Alter Rebbe says later in Tanya, I love life. So I like the source of my life because life is my existence. So too I love the God who's the source of life. He's a true life. He's a life of life. Problem is that I can't, it's hard for me to focus on this on a whole day. I talk about myself, I'm not talking about you. So it's hard for me to focus on this. And sometimes I go through troubles of my body. I have struggles within my body. I'm not talking about physical, yeah, like I have physical struggles in my body, mental, the force on nefesh, the force on guf. We say it when we say a prayer for the healing of the force on nefesh, the healing of the soul, and the healing of the body. The beautiful video yesterday, and I put it on Gems last night. We show a Motzei Shabbos by Avdallah, my 9 o'clock program. The Alter Rebbe talks about, explains the concept of how every mitzvah you do is connected to your body. Wash it physically connected to your body. And that's based on the Chassidus, that everything that I do, Ramachi Baron de Malka, that there's 248 limbs of the body is connected to the 248 mitzvahs in the Torah. And the 365 sinews of the body is connected to 365 negative mitzvahs. The Gemara is not talking like, is nice. Oh, we found a good number. There's 248 limbs, there's 248 mitzvahs. Look how everything works out. Wow. God had an imagination. So you have 248 limbs, there's 365 sinews, mamish 613. Look how everything worked out so perfectly. No, the Gemara is telling you a fact. The Gemara is telling you that every mitzvah that you do is connected to your body. And it's connected physically to your body. It's actually the life of your body. And the Eibishter wanted a healthy body and a healthy soul. He did only one, and he said actually they're both interconnected. And the Rebbe says, in essence, you have to find out. That's why the Lubavitch Rebbe, that video itself you saw. And whenever people came to him, he'd say, check your mezuzahs. You push it, say, check your mezuzahs. When's the last time you checked your mezuzahs? When's the last time you checked your tefillin? When is are you keeping careful in the way you keep it kosher? You would always connect it to a mitzvah. Because it's not something that, we have a physical side to us and there's a spiritual side to us. No, these actually work hand in hand. Yeah, Ita. That's your name. You have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's a hi. I have a question about when you do a mitzvah and it's connected to your body. Are you saying that to the degree in which you're doing the mitzvah well, to that degree your body is healthy?
No, I'm talking about mitzvah kilchasa. That your mezuzah is 100% kosher. It's not semi-kosher. Kosher mezuzah. La halacha. It's a kosher mezuzah la halacha. I'm not talking about intention. I'm talking about the simple mitzvah. A lot of people don't realize.
You're saying
I'm saying a simple
you're saying
mitzvah.
it's connected to the body.
The Rebbe, when the person usually came to that, he said, "You check your mezuzahs. Did you check? When's the last time you check your mezuzahs? You need a bunch to check your mezuzahs." The Rebbe would tell a lot of times men, would you check your tefillin? Did you physically check your tefillin? So I would ask them these simple questions. People come in, you're keeping kosher. Are you keeping kosher la halacha? Are you doing it? You're just doing it, semi-kosher. Are you la halacha? Are you keeping the simple halacha? Are you following the law? Or you're skirting the law? Don't skirt the law. Do the kashrus la halacha. Do it the way you're supposed to.
What I'm asking though is, you said before that the mitzvahs we do are connected to our body.
Right.
Right. Each mitzvah is connected to a different part of the body, right? So are you saying that if we do the mitzvah correctly, or whatever you want to say, is that connected? Does that then mean that that part of the body is then healthy?
Yes, exactly what I'm saying. Yes. I'm not a Rebbe that can tell you what to check. The Rebbe is a holy man. He knows exactly what everything is connected. I don't know, but I know that was the first thing the Rebbe would ask a person when he was not well. Do you have kosher mezuzahs? And does every door have a kosher mezuzah? Are you doing the mitzvah kal chasa? So mezuzah seems like it's a general mitzvah connected to, it seems like very connected to health. And tefillin by man is extremely important, very connected to the health of his body. And kashrus, self-understood, is extremely connected to the health of one's body. And again, and that was a beautiful thing. You should watch the video. And the Rebbe goes into explain, he says that's the way that's the way it is. It's not something that the Chazal, the sages said something nice, worked out, that after they realize, it says 248 parts of commandments, 248 limbs of the body. Wow, how it worked out. Baruch Hashem. No, that's the way the Eibishter created the world. That's the way the Eibishter created the physical and the spiritual. He created exactly that they would work together. He would create it exactly that the neshama fits your body. He created it exactly. There's no chance over here situation. There's no ups, it doesn't happen. Because Kabbalah goes further. Kabbalah says that Ivarim de Malka, that the truth is that they are the spiritual, so to say, a Ivarim of godliness. So your body and your godly soul and everything are interconnected in one entity, and a good body and a good soul, a healthy body and a healthy soul. Because as the Fidik Rebbe would say, a small hole in the body is a big hole in the soul. If the body cannot do the mitzvah, then there's a big hole in the soul. It's not only a lack in the body, it's a lack in the neshama. So therefore, we should all be healthy physically and spiritually. Because if we're unspiritually healthy, we'll be physically unhealthy. That's for sure.
How do you account for the fact that there are so many, I don't know, so many, but some tzaddikim that have gotten sick?
Right. I'm gonna have to use my line. I work for sales, not for management. So that's a general question. Why do the wicked prosper and the righteous suffer? You're asking them the $6 million question. That's a great question. And the beauty of the answer is that tzaddikim will answer themselves, that the Mekabli Yisurim Ma'ava, tzaddik will never say that question. They will never ask that question. Tzaddik himself will never ask that question because he accepts whatever the Eibishter wants with truth and with love. And it comes from a different place. But we're not talking about that self-understood. We're not tzaddikim. We're not in that level of righteous people. So we know, and we should realize that a mitzvah that we need to work on could be connected. It's not becoming, it's not, our sickness is not coming from maybe someplace that's higher than understanding. Our sickness might be coming from a place that is understanding. We're not tzaddikim. So therefore, we don't have to reach out to some place that is further than understanding. We need to simply check our mezuzahs. That's a much easier response. We're not tzaddikim to that level. That's what we do complain. When we get sick, we complain. And there might be a much more simple answer. Check your mezuzahs. Baruch Hashem, check your mezuzahs. You don't have to go deeper and say, there's some spirit. No, it's a simple thing. Check your mezuzahs. Check your tefillin. Are you doing the mitzvah that you're supposed to do? Are you doing correctly or not? Are you doing kilchasa or not? It's a much more simpler answer than going into deep meditations. And you see that ultimately it fixes it. It many times it fixes it. You check a person's mezuzah, it's not a good mezuzah, he fixes it. But again, I'm not a Rebbe. I'm not. I wish I could fix everything, but I know myself. This, second something is not good. I try to look into the mitzvah or something that I'm doing wrong, and try to fix it. Then if that doesn't work, then you can go into the next level. Why is it, go into the next level? But there's a lot of things I need to do to ultimately accomplish before I reach up to deeper concepts of why things happening bad.
That's not what I meant, but okay.
So,
What?
Rabbi, sorry.
Yeah. I always get myself in trouble. Yes, Jenny.
So I think probably at least some of the people here, I know for myself, I've checked my mezuzahs, I'm careful with kashrus, I don't put on tefillin, and I struggle with certain health challenges. So what's the next, like, what are we supposed to do then? Is it that we didn't say brachas properly? Like, what is the next level on a practical, once you've done those three things, then what?
You're right. I don't know. Jenny, that's why I said I'm not a Rebbe. I don't profess to be a Rebbe. And
Well, didn't
I don't
the
Rebbe.
Rebbe say something about once you've done that, like then what do you do? Not like why in the deeper way, but what practically should one do once they've found, like I'm sure plenty of people followed the Rebbe's advice, did those three things, were still struggling with health challenges, and they had kosher mezuzahs and they're careful with. I'm sure there were many people like that. He must have said something for those people, like what should they do next? No?
Question is gewaldig. It's true. I accept the question. I can only say that sometimes I've heard the Rebbe say to people, you need to start practicing joy.
Practicing joy?
Joy.
Joy? Joy?
Oh, why?
Okay.
You need
How do you practice joy?
just be happy. That's it. Let not negative things affect you. See, practice that. Fake it even if you have to, in a way. And that's based on the Rambam. The Rambam writes that a person that needs to bring joy in his life. And when he brings joy in his life, it breaks boundaries. He'll realize that it might break boundaries. Again, that's what the Rebbe also demanded. Just be happy. Go 100% to the aspect of joy, because that's what you really want, and really you do have joy. But you have these boundaries that are in front of you. You have these struggles that are in front of you. If you have joy, they'll maybe break those boundaries. They might break them, and you need to try to do that. You need to try to simply have simchas achayim, the joy of life, to have true joy in your life, to create joy in your life. Simcha. Simcha, which is based on emunas Hashem. Trust in HaKadosh Baruch. That's it. We have to sometimes fall on that. And that's it. And nothing. And when we create, that's why it says later, Ma'im Rabim Layachal Lichpes Ahava. I need to create such an Ahava to the Eibishter and love to God that Ma'im Rabim Layachal Lichpes. Nothing's going to affect. Nothing will affect my joy. I'm going to create a simchas achayim, a joy in life, and become a joyful entity. The Alter Rebbe writes today in Tanya, and this is a powerful teaching in Chassidus. In general, which means as the face reflects as the water reflects the face, so too the heart of man reflects another person's heart. The Alter Rebbe today in Tanya, and he explains it more in depth as we go on in the Yechitas of the day, is the Alter Rebbe explains in essence is the able to create the nature of a person, the way he reflects himself. That's the way it's going to be. Leiv Adam el Adam. We need to start reflecting a concept of pnimius, an aspect of panim. We need to start reflecting not our outer face, but our inner face. We need to start doing that. And that's why there was an expression, Tach gut vet sein gut. And this is not an easy thing. I'm not saying it's an easy thing, because everybody goes through struggles. We need to start creating and reflecting the concept of Ava, the aspect of joy. Then the Eibishter says, that's the pasuk. No, what's the pasuk? Gemara aponim el aponim. What's the pasuk? Help me out. Here we have it. Today's pitas. I jumped it. That's it. Gemara aponim el aponim. Adam el adam. Like the water reflects your face. Like when you look in the mirror, you're supposed to look, what is your essence? What is it reflect out to your face? What is behind that face? Right? The mirror not only reflects your face, it reflects the way what you're thinking. When somebody looks at you, he knows exactly what you're thinking. He knows if you're a happy person or you're an unhappy person. When you look at yourself, you know what you're thinking. Start reflecting positivity. Start reflecting Cain Lev Adam El Adam. Many interpretations, Cain Lev Adam El Adam. You want to be a happy person, reveal your Lev Adam. Reveal your true happiness. Let it not just be something that, I want to have. I hope I would have. I hope I am happy. I hope I'm a holy person. I hope I am a satisfied. You are a satisfied person. You are. That's who you really are. Let's try to do it, and the Eibishter will break all boundaries, that I would say. The Eibishter will break all boundaries. Simcha played together. That's another expression of the Gemara. Simcha played together. Simcha breaks all boundaries. Simcha will break all boundaries. Start being happy, because that's who you really are. I'm not trying to, you don't even need to fake it, but that's who you really are. Stop looking at your mirror and saying, this looks disastrous. Stop looking in the mirror and say, this is, I'm terrible. I'm bad. I'm unhappy. This is unhappy. That's unhappy. The other thing's unhappy. We got to start having Cain Leva Adam El Adam. You have to awaken up the inner of our heart and reveal that we could be happy. Yes.
So you were talking about Simchas Achayim breaking boundaries. What are you talking about? Which boundaries?
The boundaries of my sadness. My sadness. My heart, my struggles. We all have struggles. My handicaps. All these things that are making me sad and keep me down. Whether they're mentally, whether they're physically, whether they're emotionally. I need to break these boundaries. It's not easy. But we need to do that. We need to do that. We need to do that. And we need to do that. We can't say, somebody else is going to do it for me. We need to do that.
So you're talking about our own inner boundaries, our own klipo in a way.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, 100%. We need to break
of our klipo?
Our own shell. Yeah. We need to reveal the pneumius. Cain Leva Adam El Adam. We need to reveal the heart of everything. We need to reveal the Ava Misateris. We're all good people. We're all holy people. We are all happy people. We are truly happy with what we have. We're truly happy with everything. We learned, whatever your neshama was supposed to go through is all been told beforehand. There's no secrets. The neshama knew exactly what it's going to go through in life. And he accepted it. He didn't accept it with an I. He accepted it with a yay. Because whatever any situation in my life is better than the opposite. Because in any situation, I can accomplish something in this world, which you can't accomplish it when you're not in this world. You know, you need inspiration. You go to a rabbi who's laying in California. He's laying on his bed over there with ALS for the last 5 years, and he's communicating through his eyes. And look at his speeches. I read his speech every Shabbos. I read his speech. His inspiration. A guy whose mamish should be the most oppressed individual in the world, and read what he says. And maybe I don't know what's in him. Trust me. I can't imagine. I don't want to ever imagine such a situation. But you see, the man expresses the simchas achayim. So when I always read it, his Dvar Torah, I get it. Plus, it inspires me because what kind of struggles do I have in comparison to his struggles of life? And if he can have a simchas achayim and a happiness in life, I can surely express the simchas achayim happiness life with all the struggles that I'm going through in life. So I need to break my clippers. I need to break my own clipper, and I need to reveal. But the problem is everybody, and I'm not here, the Alter Rebbe, again, you know what, as I said this many times, you have to imagine you're sitting here, not with Zalman Bucket, you're sitting here with the Alter Rebbe. We're all reading here the Alter Rebbe. It's not me. I'm reading it the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe is having a chiddush with you. He's having a private audience with you in his office in Ladi in Russia. And you're sitting across him. And you're talking to him, you're telling him your troubles in life. And he's telling you, listen, I know your troubles. I know your struggles. I'm not here diminishing any of your struggles. I'm telling you that you can go a little bit deeper with all those struggles and you can reveal your goodness. I'm not here telling you that you're bad. I'm not here telling you you're a terrible person, that you're going through this, and I'm telling you that nevertheless, you can overcome it. Because I know you. I know your essence. I know your truth. I cannot say that. I'm telling you what the Alter Rebbe says. I'm not saying what I say. I don't know. I am just like anybody else. I'm in the dark like anybody else. And when I learned Tanya for myself. And we all need to learn more and sit down with the Alter Rebbe a little bit more. And maybe he can inspire us even more. And that's how we do it. Now we sit with the Alter Rebbe because the Alter Rebbe says, I know you. The second a trouble is going to come your way, you're going to fall apart. I comprehend that. You're gonna suddenly have a struggle in your mind. You're gonna have a struggle in your body. Automatically, you're gonna fall apart. So I'm telling you that I know that. I'm not condemning you for that because that's who you are. Nevertheless, I put my trust in you. You can overcome it, and you can stop yourself from letting yourself go too far in your thought about this concept and how deep you're going to go into it. If you know how to stop it, you know where to say enough, or you know where to say that it's not going to affect me, my negative thoughts and my negative feelings, how far I'm going to go with this aspect. So the Alter Rebbe says, that's why he says these things. That's it. He's talking to each and every one of us. And he says, I know exactly that the second after you leave the spiritual realm, and ultimately you're gonna come into the world, and you're gonna meet this struggle. You're gonna start feeling negative, and you're gonna have negative thoughts, and you're gonna have negative expressions. And how far do you want to go with this? Because you're going away for your truth. We know you. I know you. You're a good person, and you're a godly person, and you don't want to go that far. And we don't. Who wants to go so far? And all is with being negative. Who wants to go that far? Trust me, I never met a person who says, I enjoy being a negative person. I enjoy living in a negative existence. Makes me happy. Nobody says that. Everybody says the opposite. How do I get out of this thing? How do I break through it? Of course, everybody wants to be happy, and everybody wants to be good. So look at the Alter Rebbe explained. The Alter Rebbe is not talking what I just mentioned. The Alter Rebbe is talking about something that's prohibited in self-understood of an Aveda. He explains it, and he says, don't be foolish. Don't be foolish to think that negative thoughts are not so bad. It is bad because negative thought is not a good thing for you. So therefore, overcome your negative thoughts. They're not good. Think good. Don't think that only a physical action is doing something wrong. A negative thought is not good. It's not good to you. It's not good to anybody, a negative thought. I mentioned yesterday in Shul, it's such a powerful Veda that we all struggle with. We all struggle with the hatred that we have to other people. Might not want to say that harsh words, but that's true. We have negative thoughts about other people. And which is a terrible midah. It's a terrible thing that we have, and we really need to work on it. To stop thinking negative about other people. I cannot have avas Yisrael if I have negativity, whether it's to other people, even negativity against myself. How can I truly have ava to another person? I don't like myself. I could have ava to another person. I talk no shnara about other people. So it's truly a thing, a concept of thought. As the Alter Rebbe says, look how the Alter Rebbe says this expression. Well, it might be a little harsh, but he's saying to you again. It's Alter Rebbe talking to you. So imagine you're sitting in front of the Alter Rebbe and he's telling you this. So what happens? I have this negative thought. When I am in my negative mode, like I never davened. It's something like I never davened. Never davened. What happened to your holy side of you? What happened to your good side of you? What happened suddenly? So it's like I'm a person that's a Jekyll and a Hyde. I have bipolar. So all of a sudden I become a person that's totally not who I am. So I'm not talking about doing a prayer tradition. Nobody should ultimately do something negative. We don't talk about it in my mind. I'm having these negative thoughts in my mind. That's the words I want you to look at. But thought of things I with certain respect, as explained in the previous chapter, more heinous than the actual sin. Not that I have negative thoughts about myself or negative thoughts about somebody else. It's worse than the sin. The sin is a second. The sin that I do is a minute. Second, the evil thought is a lifetime. It affects everything I do. Every evil thought I have about myself affects me in many things that I do. That's what it says. A person has hate in his heart. It's his own. It's his, having hate is not affecting somebody else. It's affecting myself. It's the worst thing for myself. If I cannot forgive, then how do I go on in life? I said yesterday that I asked my father. I asked him a question. I asked my father a question. You know, the ultimate question, person that comes from the Holocaust, father survived. You know, let's ask him. Always had Simchas Chaim. He was a Jew that had happiness in life. So I once asked him, how is it possible? I mean, when somebody bothers me, I can carry hate for years. How do you don't have any hate in your existence? How do you don't have hate and anger, frustration? So happy. So he said, I say every Shabbos and davening, I say Avarachamim. They wish to put the Jewish people through such studies, thousands of years. The Jewish people don't have any mental issues is amazing. Truly amazing nation. And we say an Ava Rachamim. We say before Musaf, before Ashay, the Ava Rachamim. We say that it's like a yisker every Shabbos. Every Shabbos, we say like a yisker to all the Kedoshim that were murdered throughout history by the nations of the world. You know what I'm talking about? It does go like this, if you know what I'm talking about. The Ava Rachamim. In the Babish Siddha, page 232. Ava Rachamim, may the merciful Father who dwells in the supernal heights, in his profound compassion, remember the mercy for the pious, the upright, the perfect ones, the holy communities who gave their lives for the sanctification of the divine name. They were beloved and pleasant in their lives, and even in their deaths, they were not parted from him. They are swifter than eagles, stronger than lions, to carry out the will of their maker and the desire of their creator. Yeah, Hashem, may God remember them in favor together with all the righteous in the world and avenge the spilled blood of his servants, like God avenged. The Eibishter should avenge. That a God avenge the spilled blood of his servants, as written in your Torah of Moses, a man of God, O nations, sing the praises of his people, and he will avenge the blood of his servants. You bring retribution on. You bring retribution on the nations of the world. Not my job. And he continues to go through a beautiful prayer. And look at what he says at the end of this prayer. He says, all the way at the end, he says, he goes again. Further, it says, he will render judgment upon the nations, and they will be filled with corpses, and he will crush the heads over the vast area. He will drink from the streams of the waves. Therefore, Israel will hold its head high. So my father would say, I leave it up to the Eibishter. I'm not going to carry hate and vengeance. Let the Eibishter take care of what he's got to take care of. I am going to hold my head up high. I'm going to hold my head up high. Let the Eibishter take care of it. What he got to take care of. Let the Eibishter take his vengeance. Let the Eibishter punish. Truth is, that's my Al Midaisov. You know, I'm not talking about the mother says, whoever's my Al Midaisov, Mavila Kolov and Esav. Whoever can be forgiving. I'm not talking about the difference of a gender between people. If people can be forgiving, I'm talking about the Holocaust. We're going to a different subject a little bit. But in the aspect of forgiving when somebody hurts you, if you can be forgiving, Ma'avra Komodes, Eibishter forgives everything. It's a very strong midah not to have hate. Not to have hate, not to have any kind of a negative feeling in your brain. It's what the Eibishter, it's what God is asking from each and every single one of us. And when somebody does something wrong to you, you shouldn't have any kind of hate in your heart. Because because the truth is, the negative thought of sin is worse than the sin itself. Because now you have a negative concept in your mind, and it creates more negativity, and it brings you down, and it schleps you to places, drags you to places you don't want to go. Got to get rid of this. You got to get rid of these thoughts. That's it. So once I did something, I do tshuva, fix it, invite to get fired. Continue on. Don't drag yourself down in negative things. You need to be happy. Give my Vedas and other Yachal. There are 3 Avedas that we all through. So we all fall through in these Avedas, a lack of concentration and prayer. Right? Hiruri Aveda. I'm sorry, thoughts of sin. Iyun Tefillah, concentration of prayer, and slander and gossip. Thus, the Beinei included is galvanized, and no man avoids thought of sin. And this is the struggle. This is our truly struggle. That if we can overcome the thoughts of Avedas that are bothering us, we didn't even do an Aveda. We didn't even do a sin. We didn't do anything. But our mind is bothering us more than the sickness that we might have, than the sin that we might have, than the troubles we might have. This is what's dragging us down. The thought. Our mind is dragging us more than the negative thing that's happening. This is real stuff. Because ultimately, as we learn Chassidus Zekel Adam, everything is in his mind. So you imagine if we can control our mind, if we can have true control of our mind, and not let our mind drag us to make things worse. So imagine if I did something, I had a machshava, if I had an evil thought, and now I'm going to start feel negative because my evil thought. I'm going to put myself down because my evil thought. I'm going to become now this evil thought's going to become a whole day situation. That's why Hira Aveda, the thought of evil can be worse than the evil act. So therefore, we gotta start waking up our true essence of our thought, and that is that we are godly people. We are loving people. We are holy people. We are good people. Even if we had a thought. Even if we had a thought of talking Lashon Hara, of doing it Aveda, still we're good people. Let not this thought become something bigger. Because if you don't understand that, then basically the Gemara, it says any person falls through in 3 Avedas every day, we have nothing to grab onto. But the Gemara wanted us to be basically depressed individuals. The Gemara wanted to tell you who you really are. That you're not a tzaddik. The majority of people are not a tzaddikim. And therefore, they're going to have these thoughts, not make it bigger than it is. You have an evil thought, push it away. You didn't have Aveda, fix it. Don't make it bigger than it is. And that's what the Alter Rebbe says. That to be able to do that, you only have to waken up a little bit, and you know who you really are. This, the impression retained in your mind when you davened, when you prayed in the morning, you felt holy. That alone should tell you who you really are. That's why in Shulchan Aruch it says the first thing you do, go daven, go pray, because that's who you really are. Then you go into the world and you get involved in who knows what, and then you remember, well, no, I'm not that. When I thought this evil thought of somebody suddenly spoke to me in evil word. Oh, I spoke Lashon Hara. That's not who you really are. Who you really are is a davening. That's who you really are. A Jew once came to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, wrote a letter to the Rebbe, and said that I went to shul on Yom Kippur, and I felt that I'm a faker. I'm not a real person. Because I'm not there the other 365 days, 4 days of the year. So this is not real. So the Rebbe answered him after he's looking and making a mistake. That day you were real. The other 364 days you're not real. Baruch Hashem, you're one day real. He came to show that day you're real. Now the question is, why other than 364 days you're not real? How do we bring the real of Yom Kippur into the other 364 days and make the other 364 days a couple of days real also? Your davening is your real existence. You're davening, you're learning, that's who you really are. That you have machshava zaris, that you might have evil thoughts, that you might have negative situations, that is not real. So if you have a real moment in your life, with the sages want you to have a real moment, come to davening, have a real moment, and then maybe if you have a real moment, then during the day you'll always remember that real moment. You'll always remember. You'll say, you know what? That I'm going through this or that I'm going through that. It's not a real moment. It's not real. My real moment. This is Tanya. This is our real moment in davening. That real moment will be able to overcome all the fake moments you have during the day. That's what's going to happen. So what we should try to accomplish when we wake up in the morning and we daven, especially for a baining, we're not tzaddikim, we're not righteous people, is to have one real moment. And then hopefully that one real moment will give us the capability that if we have a moment of feeling bad or starting to feel negative or having a depressed moment, we'll say, wait a second, that's not real. It's not who I really am. I'm a person that is happy. I'm a person that is satisfied. I'm a person that is holy. I'm a person that loves God and God loves me. That's my reals. And that's what he says. To prevail over dominant of evil animal soul craving, so that he doesn't have any power. He's there. He doesn't have any power. He doesn't have the power to drag me down. Many waters cannot overcome this hour. Because I had a real moment, nothing can drag me down. Surely to take it from potential into reality. I'm just going to end it off. Furthermore, even in this mind alone, respect to sinful thoughts, the evil has not dominion, power to cause over-indulgence to think such thoughts consciously. Sure, I'm a person that's gevura. I'm a person that's very, critical about myself. But I'm not going to allow it to become real, to become conscious. So I'm going to think about it. Oh, but I'm so good. I had a simple thought. I spoke lashon hara. I did this thing and I did that. Oh, I'm a terrible person. Oh, now I'm depressed. Oh, this terrible thing is happening to me. I'm depressed. No, I'm not going to allow it. I'm not going to allow it. I'm not going to accept it willingly. I'm not going to accept it willingly. God forbid the evil thought that arises on its own accord from my heart to my mind, as explained above, I'm not going to allow it. And that's what the concept of Maya Shalat Alalev. That's the concept of mind that rules over the heart. Maya Shalat Alalev. I know what my heart feels. I know the negatives that I have. I'm not going to let my mind take it. My mind's not going to let that concept take over, the thought take over my existence. Which is not an easy thing. But the Alter Rebbe says, if you can have a moment in davening, if you can feel that in davening, when you pray, you can create that Shema Yisrael, you can create that concept in your prayer, that you create that moment, that you feel that you're talking toughful to the Eibishter and you love God, then that moment, if you just need to think about it during the day, the rest of the day, that moment should be able to create some kind of an everlasting feeling and expression in your body. Okay, we'll continue. It's already 11:21. We'll continue. The Alter Rebbe continues. He's not completed yet his whole thought on this issue. And again, I just want everybody to just, if you can imagine, that when you sit down and learn this Tanya, the Alter Rebbe himself is having this conversation with you and trying to impress upon you to even though you have these struggles, not to overcome it and to reveal who you really and truthfully are. Wish you all a beautiful week, and come and learn Chitas with us every day at 8 a.m. Come and learn Chumash and Tanya, so you'll connect to the Alter Rebbe's teaching and have your Chitas with the Alter Rebbe not only today but tomorrow morning. Mit Shem at 8 o'clock. We'll learn Chitas together. Have a wonderful and beautiful day.